Hello again. Welcome back to Tuesday Talks with Ted and Betty.
Hi, Ted.
Hello, Betty.
Another week has gone by.
It gets better all the time.
Okay, I was going to say one of the things that perhaps we need to address is Qualatex. People get confused about what's Pioneer, what's Qualatex. Well, Qualatex is essentially a brand of Pioneer. And it's a very important brand. And I bet people would be all of you might be surprised that actually the registration for Qualatex goes back to 1935. And it was really now we weren't, you were around, I wasn't though.
But I was born in 1935.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. But in any case, the name Qualatex really is made up of two things, quality and latex. And that's something that we've stood for many years.
We're often asked, what is the difference in latex balloons and why are Qualatex the very best balloons? And maybe just take a few minutes and talk about some of the key factors that go into making a real good Qualatex balloon. First of all, we have to start with a really good, consistent supply of latex. As most of you know, latex is a natural product. It's actually an agricultural product. And as such, it is subject to the varying conditions of humidity, of the earth, of the weather that has gone through, and all that in producing the base latex. So it's critically important to have a very good supplier that makes sure that the latex is very consistent that we get in. We get in that raw latex from an excellent plantation, and then we have to go through a process of preparing that latex in such a way that we can make balloons. That process is proprietary and a very important step in making sure that we do and we have the opportunity to make really good balloons. Now, the rest of the process is a relatively long one. I don't know how many of you know that it takes us well over an hour to make one single latex balloon. Now, obviously, we have to make lots at a time to be able to make sense out of that length of a process. And so it's important then, as we go through each step of the process, that we take excellent care of every one of the components that go into making that balloon. I don't think that today we'll go through each step of the manufacturing process, which we'll do perhaps at another time, other than to point out some of the real key things that go into top quality. And one of the things that I always like to talk about is the importance of leach in the manufacture of balloons. Now, what we say by leach is we actually, when we initially form a gel on the form of a balloon, we then go through a hot water bath in order to leach out the impurities that have been put into the base ingredients of the balloon. And that hot water bath is crucial to make sure that temperatures is maintained, that we make sure that we are constantly refreshing that water, because no different than when you take a bath, if you don't refresh that water is going to build up the soils of and the oils that come off your body. It's no different in a balloon. So we have to make sure that when we go into that hot water bath, that we constantly
But I don't think all balloons go through leaches.
That's also correct, because that's a very crucial, but it's also an expensive step in the process to make sure that things like that are very properly controlled and add to really top quality. Now, there are many other segments of the process which includes the cure of the balloon or the vulcanization of the balloon, which is when we drive all the moisture out of the latex and we literally change the latex into rubber.
And that product can't be reversed, can it?
That process cannot be reversed. You can't add water back to rubber and make it into latex. But the way that's done is crucially important to a quality of balloon. So there are many steps in this. that involve the base quality of a product. Perhaps in future Tuesday talks, we can talk more detail about the process. But I think it's important to understand that not all balloons are created equal, that there is a lot of important steps that go into making sure that that product comes out.
Well, I think even within Pioneer, we have different brands of balloons. Somewhat, the processes are somewhat the same, but the ingredients vary. The way we produce them varies at times. So not all brands are created equal.
That's also exactly correct. What is important is that we're making the very best product for the use that the consumer is going to put that product to. That is the key to how we direct our efforts to make sure that we address the demands that you as our customers are asking of us. So I hope that gives you some idea of what goes into making the very best balloons, the very best latex balloons, and we'll cover a lot more on the quality side in future talks. Thanks for listening.
See you next week.